I want to talk about the difference between primary and secondary conversion actions. Now, according to Google, primary actions, these are conversion actions that are reported in the conversions column and used for bidding, as long as the standard goal they are part of is used for bidding. Cool. Secondary actions. These conversion actions are for observation only. They're used for reporting in the all conversions column in your reports, but not for bidding, even if the goal they are included in is used for bidding. The one exception is if the secondary action is part of a custom goal. Okay. Interesting. So when you go to build a conversion action, you'll see a couple of things that I think are relevant. Goal and action optimization. It's going to ask you the type of conversion action. So we have categories, sales categories and lead categories. I wouldn't phone this in. You know, you might say like, oh, contact, lead form, book an appointment. They're all the same thing if they're scheduling. They're not. I think that Google is, Google's trying to understand human intent. And so you telling Google exactly what type of conversion action this is really important, because there's common denominators behind. Google knows who its phone call people are versus its scheduled appointment people are versus its form fill people are. So make sure to use the thing that's most applicable to whatever it is that you're trying to track. Once you do that, then Google says, great, for this goal, chooses if this is primary or secondary. And this action will be optimized for and reported in the conversions column. Secondary action. This action is marked secondary, will not be used for optimization by default, and will only be reported in the all conversion column. Here's why I call BS. When Performance Max rolled out, the only conversions we were given were the all conversions column. I think that Google is using secondary conversions as predictive indications of intent. And honestly, I can't imagine them not using that. So I'd be really careful about what it is that you're tracking as a secondary conversion. Number one. Number two, use as many secondary conversions as you can. A member of our team, Usama, was going over how he uses secondary conversions in order to gauge the efficacy of a funnel, and it is freaking brilliant, y'all. Here's what he does. He builds secondary conversion actions for every single step up until the actual conversion. And so what that does is, because if you're only building your primary conversion action, let me see, actually, where am I? Let's see if I can give you an example of this. If you only had a primary conversion action here, then, and it didn't work, let's say it didn't work, you wouldn't know anything other than, oh, the campaign failed. But imagine having, and just for the sake of this discovery, let's say that I've got my action plan form as my primary conversion action, but then I have viewed the plans and pricing page, secondary, add to cart, selected checkout, viewed the checkout page. I guess those would be the same. But you know what I mean? Like, you build a secondary conversion action for every single step up until the primary conversion action. Now, from a diagnostic standpoint, you just gave yourself a real quick and easy view as to, okay, well, they viewed the product, they viewed the pricing page on the product, they added it to the cart, they selected checkout, and they died at the checkout page. Wonder why? Or they died at the whatever. This just gives you a sense as to how far people are getting. And so if they're dying at the checkout page, now I go look at the checkout page and that's where my CRO begins. It's, what are we doing wrong? Are we explaining the terms? Or do we have all the materials on there? Are we explaining shipping? Etc. So use secondary conversion actions in order to identify what could potentially be going wrong with your primary conversion actions. And then also, and this is the part where I can't ever prove this, so everybody gets to call BS because there's, it's hard because I don't want to come off as paranoid, but Google's given us a ton of reason to be paranoid. So I'd use secondary conversion actions that you think are predictive indications of intent. Even if you're not trying to measure your funnel when you should be, you're giving Google a sense as to what's working and what's not working. And then then that actually begs the question as to maybe be careful as to what you're loading up in secondary conversion actions, because you don't want to give Google false indications. False positives are super dangerous. One of the things that we've done is we load up analytics data as a secondary conversion action, so it's not measured. Do I have that here? Yeah. So it's not measured, but we can still see it and benchmark it against the primary conversion action and see how the reconciliation looks at a glance. Anyway. What else do I want to go over? That's it. That feels good. This little note here, incidentally, is a nice explanation as to how they work. I'll include a link to this in the description of the video. Appreciate y'all watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Wait, before you go, I'm constantly looking for amazing people to come join our team. So if you're passionate about Google Ads and you're passionate about customer success, please go to solate.com/apply, and we'd love to see you as a part of the Solutions 8 team. Also, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. It lets the YouTube algorithm know that we actually know what we're doing. And don't forget to subscribe. We shoot a video every single day, and I don't want you to miss out on any of it. Lastly, if you have questions, comments, concerns, confessions, or you just hate my face and my voice, go ahead and hit us up in the comments. We get very little human interaction, and even the heckling is something that I kind of get a kick out of. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being subscribers if you're a subscriber. Don't forget to apply if you're interested in working at Solutions 8. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow.